did you get back?
Oh, just basically now.
What are you doing?
Can you pass me that bag of dirt?
Oh, I get it! It's the intro to the Terra Mystica review.
Oh, are we doing a review? Terra Mystica is a fantastic game. It's also a tree in a box. This is a psychologically, emotionally and physically hefty game. All you have to do is hold this box in your arms to know that it means business. Wooden business.
Big word. But it's also a serious game. It's a complex game, it's a nuanced game, it's a wise game. Although that said, it's kind of simple. Really, in its own way, Terra Mystica is not one of the most complex games we've ever reviewed on the show, even though the manual shows you there's a lot of depth in here. No, Terra Mystica has that very, very special mix of depth and a certain elegance of design. Enough of this. Let's look in the box. That's where you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Right.
How do you, because...
If you... No, don't, because you'll do your back.
Do you want to tilt it?
Yeah!
To me! To me!
Don't, stop.
What if
How
you
did
just...
we do this last time?
I can't remember!
No, you're just pushing it. It's not opening. It's not opening. You're just pushing it. I mean, it says it's only like 2 tons.
Should we get... No, what about the chopper? No, it's not working. It's not working. It's not... A game of Terra Mystica is always going to start in the same way, which is your friends staring in abject terror at this thing you've just put in front of them that you're going to force them to play. But don't worry, if you think this looks intimidating, and frankly you'd have to be a university professor not to do so, know that Paul and I play a ton of games, our friends do too, and within 5 minutes of playing this, they'd stopped crying and started saying, oh, it's quite simple, isn't it? It's good. So, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is look at this. This is your player mat. This is your pseudo-fantasy race that you're going to play, whether that's nomads or fakirs or darklings, and the terrain that they like to build on. This is their buildings and their power, and we'll get to all that and their special powers in a minute. Next, look at this, which is the player board, this weird hexed-up world. And these are your dwellings, and the object of Terra Mystica is simply to disseminate yourself around this place. If you just look at that, look, you can continue building, and then you place bridges, and then you can upgrade your buildings, and generally you're trying to spread yourself like people butter across this cracker bread world.
Yes. No, because what Quinns has done there, he's made the game seem earthy and simple, and it's not. It's magical and marvellous. He hasn't mentioned the special powers, he hasn't mentioned the pagan cults, he hasn't mentioned the spell casting or the terraforming, but that's okay, because, ladies, I'm an expert in magic and spell casting and cults and terraforming.
Get on with it!
But first, before we get into that, and before you start thinking that this is just some mix of your algebra and your anthropology homework, I want to prove to you this is fun. So I want to take you through one of the player boards, but not here, not with him around. Where can we go where it's just us? Hi. This is your player board. And don't worry, it's not as complicated as it looks, you'll be fine. It's kind of a blueprint or a cheat sheet for how to play the game. It's a guide to so much that goes on. Look, I'll explain, I'll make everything clear, it's okay. In the game you gather 3 resources, and those resources are cubey little workers, which are little wooden squares, golden little gold coins, which are gold, and purple magic power tokens, because purple's a very powerful colour. Purple is the colour of power. And anyway, this guide will help you keep track of all your power. And as you take things on or off it, it will tell you exactly how much those things cost or what they do. Look, I'll explain. If you're trying to put down a dwelling here, that requires 1 cube and 2 gold. Or if I want to upgrade that dwelling later, I'll just put that dwelling back, and that goes on there. And now I know that every turn I get 1 less cube, and I'll take away one of these trading posts because that's what I've upgraded to, and that means I get 2 more gold and I get 2 more power now with my trading posts. And the whole board is like this, really. It's a map of clarity, and it really is what Terra Mystica is all about, is this kind of ergonomic, very visual design. You get visual clues about what everything does straight away. Oh, they're just underneath things. Oh, look, what's under here? Oh, a priest. Hello.
What is he doing in there? Do you want to get back to the actual game that we're meant to be playing? So, this multicoloured board, you're all trying to spread yourselves across, like so many spreading things that spread. What spreads? Monkeys? Monkeys kind of spread. Anyway, the point is that every race can only build on a certain terrain type, whether that's wasteland or desert or forest. Everything else has to be done by terraforming, so you turn these hexes into the corresponding colour. That's incredibly expensive, though. It costs workers you don't have because you're meant to be investing them into your economy to improve income, as you just saw. Now look here, this wheel is something you probably noticed. This is simply how many workers you have to spend to terraform it right up to your terrain type, like dialing a phone. A desert or a mountain is easy for giants to terraform, but lakes, no, they're very expensive. So with this in mind, let's look at an example of play to show you the kind of headaches and fascinating decisions you're going to have to make here. Look, let's say you want to connect this up to the rest of your territory. Well, you could certainly build in a that-would-lead direction. That seems like a good idea. No, because look, the mermaids have already got a heavily invested claim on this island. If you build into the middle here, you're going to be duking it out for territory. You're going to be forcing their hand as they strive forward to cut you off. That's much too aggressive. Or is it too aggressive? I don't know. Another option would be to build a bridge here and start terraforming this. That blocks off the mermaid and lets you claim that and connect that up. But that's forest, that's expensive. Perhaps you're thinking it could be best to claim this, let the mermaids rush and spend a lot of resources trying to block you off, but actually what you're trying to do is put a bridge there and then terraform this, which while it doesn't connect up anything, it gives you options for later turns to connect up either this to that or to that, depending on how other players grow. And this is the game. And just simply put, a wonderful decision that you're forced to make is whether it's best to strive off by yourself, at which point, you can build a lot, but you're not stopping other players. And when is it best to be aggressive? And that leads to you being fascinated in other players' turns because you're trying to identify who has the lead and who you want to try and wreck with your construction plans. I mean, there's no one here now, but...
Which is great, because it means Terra Mystica is gaming at a glance all the time. It's gaming at a glance when you've got these little player boards and you're staring at your own economy and you're wondering what you want to do next, or it's gaming at a glance when you're looking at the main board and you can easily tell who's trying to go where and what they're doing. It's not really about number crunching, it's about making the difficult decisions that you can see laid out in front of you. There's so much other stuff to think about too, like...
Lots of other stuff.
What's the other so much, Queens?
There's so much.
There's so much. The bowls, there's magic bowls. To come back, wait, no, the bowls are really good. Look, we'll do bowls. So, bowls magic, that purple power that you've got can be spent doing anything. And all the anythings are here along the bottom of the board. These are magic spells which can be cast one time per round by one player, and once that's happened you put a thing over it so no one else can do it. But those are things like they're terraforming, or they get you extra gold, or they get you workers, they get you stuff. They're a bit like a kind of shortcut. But the magic and the bowls and the magic bowls work very cleverly. They work like this. There's a 3-tiered 3 magic 3 bowl system, a lot like you've probably got in your own home, and it cycles in this way. When you gain a purple power point, doesn't appear anywhere, it's already on your board, it moves somewhere. Look, here's bowl number 1 with some magic in, and when I get a point I cycle that into bowl number 2. Now, when bowl number 2 is full of all these cycling in from the purple points, they go into bowl number 3, and that's the point that I can use them to cast spells. And let's say, I don't know, 3 of those have come in and I have a 3 power point purple bowl magic spell, and I do that, they then go back into bowl number 1. Now the thing is, they have to all come out of bowl number 1 again before they can go into bowl number 2, and I can use them in bowl number 3. Now, so you see, it's slightly delayed
it's clever.
And tiered, and the idea is really you want to get a lot of stuff in bowl number 3, which take you a while, because when you burn that and it goes back into bowl number 1, you still have some more. But if you use your stuff too early, it's gone.
What other stuff is there?
Well, this is it. This is just like one clever system. There's towns and VPs.
Let's talk about VPs, the other stuff.
You're over there. Who's holding the camera?
Here's more other stuff. So how do you actually win the game?
I don't know.
What you do is that, look, on the side of the board is how you win. That's nice. So look, at the end of the game, the largest contiguous, it's a good word, use it in front of your parents, they'll be impressed, landmass of buildings gets a ton of victory points, this track around the board. Also, and this is bizarre, look here. These are randomly laid out at the beginning of the game. It's what you get victory points for doing every turn. So in our game, look, trading posts, building them is worth VPs on the first turn. Terraforming is worth VPs on the second turn, which changes every single game of Terra Mystica because structurally, some games you'll get temples out first, and in some games you'll terraform first. Very, very interesting. And there's also VPs for being on the cult tracks, which is another thing.
The cult tracks.
We haven't talked about the other thing.
What
Paul, you're in a cult. Why don't you talk about not Scientology, but
so,
these?
Here are some cults, and they're like the cult of red and blue and
Earth.
Paris, or whatever that is. And the idea is, as you're building temples and things, you remember I pulled the temple thing and the priest appeared and it was like, priest, I was like, what are you doing? Anyway, these guys can either be burned on certain resources or they can be sent away to temples. Well, they'll research stuff and pray, and you'll jump up these temple scales, and as that happens you'll get purple power. You remember purple power? It goes in bowls.
But then you get VPs as well.
Well, this is it. If you're at the top of one of the tracks, then you get victory points at the end, and the people below are like, well, you know, we're not doing so well, and you're like, yeah, I know.
What other bits are there?
Bowls. Cities.
Right, hang on, hold the thing, because other bits.
Cities are... Wait, no, this is you.
So you'd think that with this largest landmass thing, you want loads of buildings in one spot, but you don't.
That'd be silly.
That would be much too simple. So look, when you have 4 different buildings that are connected, like that would be a thing. I just need to terraform that really quickly. Come on, workers.
Is that a legal move?
You know. So what happened there is now I've got 4 buildings connected, and if there are enough really big buildings, then you form a town. You need at least 7 points worth of buildings in a 4 hex thing, and then you get to take a town token, which is a ton of VPs. But the effect of this is horrible. Like, you don't want to, like, let's say I've got a sort of a half a town and then a half a town. I don't actually want to connect them for the town bonus, because that would be like 150% of a town, and that would not be good. So you need to figure out, am I going to go for 1 town this game, or 2, or even 3 if you're really pushing your luck, and you have to have that in your mind all the time. And that's the other bits.
150% of a town?
Yeah.
How does... Have we got a bit excited about Terra Mystica?
Maybe.
That's fine.
Should we have a lie down?
All right.
Oh, Paul. I dreamt we made our living talking about magic bowls on the internet.
That wasn't a dream. So should we do a top 3 of things, 3 nice things that we like about how Terra Mystica is nice?
Yeah, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3 is wood, because wood is just the nicest component for a board game, and it gives a 3rd dimension to Terra Mystica where you can see the wood, and there's actually some wood in some woods here, and it's just very tactile and lovely, and then you've got so many things to touch and play with all the time. Wood is good.
Would you say that wood is... No, it's not going anywhere.
So number 2 is everything. It's everything, because it's a game where you can just build and watch everything get bigger and see your economy gradually grow, and from nothing create all sorts of things. Put down your fortresses and your temples, and you get more priests, and you jump up all the scales, and look, I can make my people better at terraforming, so they terraform quicker, and that gets me points, and I can do shipping things, that gets me points, and I can do things all the time, but I can do them more and better, and by the end of the game I'm going to be, there's just more of everything. And that's really good. It's just engaging. It's good. It's really good. And it's just all the time. And it's good. It's really, look, and this here, there's things. And oh, look at this. And oh no, because I think, oh, I can do a spell, and I'm going to get some workers. It's really good. It's just everything. Number 2, everything. And maybe number 1 is just other people, and playing with other people, and thinking about how you're playing with other people. And that's a really good reason, because There are lots of games like Terra Mystica where you spend your time looking at your own playboard and thinking about what you're doing and playing with your own economy, and you do your own thing and you're in the corner. It's fine, no one really pays attention to what you're doing. But no, because in Terra Mystica you're competing for resources, you're always competing to cast spells, to jump up the cult tracks, you're always playing with other people, you're always engaged with the people around you, telling a little story about your expansion, and that's my number 1. Or number 3. They're not in any order, but they're all good. That was incredible. What, was that the kind of thing you had in mind?
No.
Why not? What?
Well, if I was doing it, it would be like... So far this review we've talked about how Terra Mystica is a nice game, how it has nice components, a nice theme, nice design, nice ideas, oh it's very nice. But a nice game will only lead to you having a nice time. For you to have a really great and memorable time, you need something that keeps you glued to the game. And in the case of Terra Mystica, what that is that the game is a Playing it is nice. Playing it well is a that will keep you absolutely fascinated by every single turn you take and everyone else takes. Look here. Let's take your economy that Paul was talking about, how it's very nice to build. You can build dwellings and that's nice, you get workers. And then you can upgrade them to get the gold you need. But don't forget that puts it back. Suddenly every step you take forward in your economy will see the tiers below it getting damaged. Let's say you do have enough workers and gold though, and you build a temple. Suddenly you don't have enough gold and you spent all your workers and you don't have anything. It's a ladder where as you climb upwards, the lower rungs get complicated. That's a Oh, that's nice. You get points for doing everything in Terra Mystica. Points for building towns, says the game. And that's nice, isn't it? Wait, says the game. Because also, if you build your fortress on turn 3, you'll get more points. And also, if you build the biggest town, you'll get more points. But is that more or less points than if you built 2 towns versus? Hang on, why is that? If you terraform on turn 4, how do you factor that into your? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Oh, you get to play with other people. That's nice, isn't it? Well, hang on, no, wait, because so many of the victory points are based on what they do. So what if you go for a cult victory and another player races up? You! What if you're trying to build a town on this nice central island and the other players just build a wall? You! What if you go for the largest contiguous landmass and then another player, just places a bridge, suddenly connecting his 2 towns that he scored separately for 2 lots of town points and... I ran out of breath there.
Right, now, a thing I would say about Terra Mystica, that is review's done, Terra Mystica, don't do that. Thing I would say about Terra Mystica, it's a bit pricier than other board games. It comes with a lot of stuff. There is a tree's worth of wood in there, so that's what you're paying for. But there's a lot of replayability too.
There is. And you know what? There are 14 different races, one for each terrain type, and then a different race. Every one of them unique, and you're going to want to play with all of these different races. More than that, though, Terra Mystica achieved something I've never seen before in a game we've played, not to this degree. When we finished our game, the players couldn't bring themselves to leave the table. They kept poring over their last few turns, discussing, why didn't you do that? I should have done this. How can I play it better? That's how fascinating the puzzle here is. So yeah, very pricey, but if you think you're going to enjoy it, you definitely will.
Right.
What were you doing in the bedroom anyway?
Oh, well, you know, that's where the magic happens.
Really?
Bowls. Do you want to see my bowls?
No?
Do you want to come and see my bowls? Come and see my bowls.